So imagine this, right? The mood is, it's perfect, the lighting is just right, and you're feeling incredibly connected to your partner. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, they ask you to rate their performance on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh man, mood completely destroyed.
Literally destroyed, like it's over. Today we are doing a deep dive into exactly those moments, the times when intimacy just turns into pure cringe-inducing ick.
Right, because it is basically the fastest way to shatter a connection. Our sources today actually look at 3 distinct categories of these intimacy killers. But what's really compelling is the root cause they all share, you know?
Yeah, they all stem from a lack of presence, right? Like
Oh.
these cringe-worthy moments aren't just bad luck. They happen because someone completely abandons the present moment.
Exactly. They trade actual intimacy for a clinical routine. And let's look at where this usually starts, which the sources call the performative persona. This is that mental disconnect.
Oh man, the performative persona.
Yeah, it's when someone is physically in the room with you, but mentally they are like starring in their own private movie. You see this with the main character.
Right, where they're just so focused on their own angle, it's just like their scripted dirty talk.
Yes, exactly. They completely ignore whether you are actually enjoying yourself, or the other side of that is they turn into the robot.
Okay, let's unpack this robot thing, because it's like someone trying to pass a Turing test in the bedroom.
That is a great way to put it.
Right. Because they have all the data on what human intimacy is supposed to look like, but they lack the actual human operating system to feel it. It's just like step 1, step 2, check the boxes. Like they're rigidly going through a grocery list instead of interacting with an actual human being.
It really is a grocery list, and the psychology behind that is fascinating. Like, why do we do this? Well, the research points out that vulnerability is terrifying.
Totally terrifying.
Right. So when people feel exposed, they often retreat into a script, something they've learned from movies or past experiences. It feels safer to check boxes on a mental list than to genuinely check in with the person in front of them.
Right, checking a list versus checking in.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. So if someone is stuck in their head playing a role, it completely follows that their body isn't actually reacting to the person in front of them.
Exactly. You get the physical disconnect.
Yeah, which leads to the physical awkwardness, the mechanical failures. If you're listening to this, you probably experienced that moment of panic when a partner tries what the sources call the forceful shift.
Oh, the forceful shift, just violently manhandling you into a new position with zero warning.
Literally 0 heads up, just bam.
Yeah, it is the physical manifestation of that mental disconnect we were just talking about. They aren't reading your body language, so you end up with zero rhythm, like 2 gears that just do not mesh.
Right. But here's where it gets really interesting to me, and I have to ask. If a movement is physically uncomfortable, like the gears are grinding, why wouldn't someone just stop or change positions?
Because to them, the visual aesthetic of the act has become more important than your physical reality.
Wait, really? They care more about how it looks.
Yes, that is the friction fail. They keep doing something awkward because it's part of their routine. Stopping to adjust breaks that movie-like fantasy they have constructed in their head. It proves they are prioritizing a visual script over what actually feels good to you, their partner.
That sounds absolutely exhausting to maintain.
It really is.
And inevitably that physical script has to end, right? Which brings us to the jarring return to reality, what the sources call the finish icks. What happens when the director yells cut?
Well, you get what they call the check, please.
Oh, I love that name.
Right. It's this immediate whiplash-inducing pivot the exact second the physical act is over. So they're instantly grabbing the phone, turning on the TV, or, bringing up mundane chores.
Yeah, like talking about filing taxes or something.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing kills the afterglow, quite like a sudden audit, right? But it's not just checking out. The sources mentioned it's also over-investigating. Which brings us back to that 1 to 10 rating scale I mentioned at the very beginning.
Yes, the investigation. Asking, was that good, or demanding a literal performance review? It seems like they want feedback, but psychologically, this is deep insecurity disguised as data collection.
Oh, wow. So it turns a shared, intimate moment into an actual performance review.
It does. It solidifies the feeling that the encounter was just a task to be completed. And once the objective is met, the connection is instantly severed.
Man, it turns a shared experience into a total transaction.
Exactly.
So to avoid these pitfalls, the sources are pretty clear here. You have to shed this script, throw away the mental checklist, embrace the awkwardness of being vulnerable, and just stay present with the person in front of you.
Because the second you start acting, you stop connecting. It's so true. As we wrap up this deep dive today, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. We've seen how a lack of presence creates these jarring icks in our most intimate moments. But if we are doing this in the bedroom, how often are we letting these exact same performative checklist behaviors sneak into our everyday non-physical relationships?
That is a really great question.
Right. Are you actually dancing with the people in your life, or are you just counting the steps?